Hi, Mike Mulligan. We're going to talk about why didn't they shut down the Pilgrim plant with the later SRV problems and leaks. Let's see, timeline. You know, they made a big stink about me reading the timeline and stuff like that. This timeline here from January, from April, May, 2011 to March 22nd, 2013. I don't know how many people in the United States could do such a thing or could think about making a timeline like this. And intertwining the gas crisis with the Pilgrim crisis, as far as it's very few. It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever done in my life, as far as to put down the dates and times of all this sort of stuff together. And it was one of the most intelligent things I've really almost ever done. But so right. April, May 2011. Did I tell you that I got through a couple of these things and they said, we already got you already submitted the timeline to the NRC. You don't need to go through this. And well, it's kind of the timeline kind of helps me discuss the issues. It's like talking points, on a piece of paper and stuff like that. That's what this is about, and I'm proud as hell of it. Did I tell you that? So, anyways, April, May 2011, the new SRVs installed. December 26th, 2011, right? The Pilgrims got the first leak. November 27th, 2012, the New England ISO, according to the union leader, says that's when the grid crisis began. November, that's way before the cold weather and stuff like that. Way before the cold weather on November 27th. Then January 20th, 2013, the second leak requires a shutdown of Pilgrim plant, right? And stuff. I mean, it boggles the mind to think this is how fragile our grid was. And then January 20th, in the process of shutting down. January 21st, the New England ISO asserts a grid emergency, near mandatory rolling blackouts, right? Do you think the 20th, the shutdown for the Pilgrim leak, and the 21st, the New England ISO in an emergency, worst emergency they've seen in a long time and stuff like that? Do you think these are coincidences or these are associated and stuff? So, peak demand this year 20,800. Peak demand 2004 is 22,818 and stuff. This is we had a mild winter. We didn't. Normal winter. We had a milder winter last year and stuff. So, what's the change? Why did they shut down January 20th, 2000? Pilgrim. This is December 2011 was when they had the first SRV business, right? They must have had all their guys, going. They had that valve. They took that valve out and put a different valve in, so they could have taken it. They could have, inspected it and tested it and in a host of ways to come out to know why that failed and stuff. And I just think that there was a manufacturing defect, and they couldn't retool the target rock fast enough. There was a delay time to kind of re-engineer the valve. Something's going on and stuff. And so they at the second leak they knew what was wrong with it, but they just couldn't have the new design 3-stage valves made by that time for some reason or other. and stuff like that. And so I think that's the reason for the shallow LER that came out twice, and that type of thing. And then after they hit that crisis on January 21st, and they seen the length of it, they seen the association with shutting Pilgrim down, and the next day, the crisis, the grid having a heart attack and needing rescue. I can't even say the word. The next day that the prices spike high enough to take our breaths away and stuff like that. So what was going on there? Did federal authorities get together with the NRC and talk to them about, Pilgrim's a tiny load on the grid compared to the rest of 600 megawatts versus 2200. 22,100 megawatts. I just imagine how fragile the grid is if taking off 600 megawatts causes a grid crisis. Just where was all the spending reserves and all that crap? Was it even a blizzard and stuff? Just think of how fragile that grid was at that day, and how close they were to coming to the edge. I think that could see this out years before this was coming, and the day of reckoning was occurring, and they just couldn't, they didn't have enough capacity on the line, and they just, batten down the hatches and try to survive it out. And so the question of this video is, did they have a talk with the NRC people? Did the New England ISO, maybe FERC, or whoever, politician, or whoever talks to the NRC people, and talk to them and say, hey, these nuke plants are gotten really, we screwed up with managing the grid, and our pipeline, really bad, and we got ourselves in a bad position, and you guys gotta show some regulatory goodwill as far as plants like Pilgrim plant, things that you demanded them to shut down in the past. Well, you might hurt more people. You're never going to get into an accident, but you might hurt more people if you drive the grid into a crisis and we have to do mandatory blackouts. You see what I'm saying, the NRC? And so you're going to have to jigger your risk perspectives and stuff. If the public ever got wind of it, they'd have a cow. So you're going to have to figure out a way to keep this secret. This new strategy, the NRC, of allowing New England plants to operate when they shouldn't operate, when they should be required to shut down and stuff. Was there a secret policy the NRC instituted as far as New England? Is that why the NRC doesn't? This whole rigmarole of not wanting to talk to me about the Pilgrim SRV problem? Is this what it's that they're trying to hide? Is a new local strategy of allowing New England nuke plants operate in a more dangerous regime, not requiring them to shut down and repair components, because it would make the grid a lot more. There'd be a lot more risk of rolling blackouts than the associated risk of having an accident and stuff like that. So we're going to allow the plants to operate slightly out of the regulatory regime, and we're going to make it secret. We're going to have a secret policy that I don't know. Maybe Homeland Security got involved with this, and some sort of sense of a secret national security type of deal, a local, regional, national security type of deal, that the New England area is in energy crisis and 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 we maybe some secret declaration or something like that, and we're going to allow these plants to secretly operate more dangerously and stuff like that. Because I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense out of this whole deal. Is if that happened, and then after the 21st, like I said, they've had a slew of leaks, right? 3 more leaks, essentially 3 more leaks, and they never shut down and stuff. And so, are they using the same criteria? Who knows? Are they using a more lenient criteria than the first 2 shutdowns and stuff for then the last 3 sets of leaks and stuff like that? Why? And so is that what's going on here? Is that why the NRC is brushing me off? And that is what that is. I mean, if they're doing that, if they got some secret Homeland Security doohickey going on with the NRC that allows them to allow a nuke plant to operate in a more dangerous manner, and doing this secretly. I mean, this undermines our Constitution and the ideas of an open and transparent government to a disgusting level and stuff. I hope it's not like that, but it's the only way this thing makes sense. I talked about this, to making a bank robber, you need a lot of stuff to make a bank robber. A lot of probably something wrong in his head, probably upbringing and stuff like that. And it takes a person a high hurdle to get past a high hurdle to the point where he walks into a bank with a gun and tries to rob people. Right? He's desperate. He's lost his sense of risk and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's a very high hurdle, and thus I had a police officer I gave the same lecture to over my bridge that I'm trying to get replaced. And I says, and so thus there's very few bank robbers. I mean, and I asked this group of people I was with. I said, how many of you either were a bank robber or know somebody who is a bank robber, and or was ever seen a bank robbery? And the police officer raised his hand and said, I was in the vicinity of a bank robbery once, and I got a laugh out of me. But most of the slaughter and the loss of millions of human lives, hundreds of millions of human lives in this nation, most of all the economic damage and displaced value of human life is usually all justified around doing good, right? That's how good the majority of good people justify doing bad deeds. Is they're doing it in the name of altruistic reasons, doing good. I am doing this in the name of my family. This kind of behavior, and that's why there's a lot of sorrows in the world. That's why the majority of the reason why we create sorrows of this on this planet is through altruism and justifying terrible deeds of good people through rationalizing, doing it in the name of God, in the name of our families, in the name of national security interests and stuff like that. You ought to think about that along with this and stuff. And I would never. So as I said, it takes a very rare person to rob a bank. Very rare sets of development and special attributes in his head in order for a guy to rob a bank. It takes the average Joe, with a false rationalization to do create the majority of the sorrows on this world. And you should be very careful of people doing things in the name of God, or doing things in the name of doing good, or in the name of altruism. You ought to think of that. You ought to, pause and think 3 times before you accept a stupid rationalization from an average person saying he's doing this in the name of us all. Thank you, Mike Mully.